Sonra açalım. Kapatın.
Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbena zalemna enfusena ve illem tagfir lana ve terhamna lenekunenne minel khasirin. Rabbi enni messeniyed-durru ve ente erhamur rahimin. La ilahe illa ente subhaneke inni kuntu minez-zalimin. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. Inshallah, the moderator friend is going to start introduction, introducing the subject and reading.
Assalamu alaikum. So we've been discussing the phrase in the name of God, the Merciful, the Compassionate. So as a recap of the past several weeks, this is actually, I believe, part 15. So more than 4 months now, right? Almost 4 months. So basically, the phrase, as far as the qualities, as far as I experience the qualities that manifest within the universe, in my interaction with them, I see that they themselves do not have the capacity to be the source of the qualities that I see on them. So they, the qualities themselves are not independent in their existence, nor are the things that manifest those qualities. Both require a necessary point, a source of existence. Furthermore, we discussed how understanding in the name of God is, we can understand this by, everything in the universe coming into existence as a result of a conscious will of the source of existence or the creator. So everything I experience is in a way for me to orient myself back to the source of existence of everything. So the way in which I see things are being created with their qualities necessitate that the things themselves do not have the ability or power or will to be the source of existence, and thus they must necessarily be acting in the name or existing as a result of their creator, of the source of existence. They cannot come into existence independently, and I guess in other words, they must be willed by the source. So this is, I think, a rough summary of the entire topic, or as best as I can. And last week in particular, we had discussed that this concept of the existence of basically everything looking to or being a result of mercy. And so in order to understand this, we discussed how I need to first question or consider the purpose of existence before I can jump to the conclusion that the result of my existence is mercy, or my existence results from divine mercy. So as far as my interactions with the universe go and my questioning of the purpose of existence, I can only do this from my own lens. That was one thing that we had discussed. And we had also discussed there are two parts of the universe, or at least the way in which we discussed it last week. And one being, so the physical universe that serves me, my body, which I seek to, grow and stay healthy. Everything in existence seems to be benefiting me or serving me in one way or another. The oxygen, air, bugs, ecosystem, everything fits in the order perfectly. But at the end, I am subject to death. And so that brings us to consider the human side that we call the part of me, of my humanity, that feels discomfort in the experience of loss and transience. So my human qualities seek something more. And so they require this sort of meaningfulness in my existence, one, and by meaningfulness I guess I mean that one that is not subject to loss or transience, as I experience things in the universe, because I either leave them or they leave me. So there seems to be some sort of a contradiction. So as I continue to observe the universe, we also talked about how I see the apparent qualities of things. So for example, I guess to give a short example, like a beauty, the quality of beauty in a flower or tree. And since this, since the quality of beauty, for example, on a flower itself is transient, and the flower itself does not have the consciousness or will or power to be the source of existence of the beauty that I see on it. As we've been discussing for the last few weeks, I necessarily conclude that these qualities must be from their source. And so we, I guess to try to wrap this up, we discussed how, in my interaction with, let's say, an orange, I experience or I observe certain qualities like perfect shape, order, beauty, but that either, when I eat that orange or in the rotting of that orange, the quality of these things, for example, in the rotting of the orange, right, the quality of order is still there. It rots perfectly. So the qualities themselves, even if they change in the way that they are manifest, they're always manifesting in one way or another, even if the things through which I experience or pick up on the manifestation of these qualities change. And so we, to cut it short, we talked about how basically everything in existence is there for me to train myself to further question the existence of these things. So with the orange, finding that the source of it must be one that must be one that is must be as a result of a conscious will. As I experience the orange with its color, design, taste, smell, etc. And so the orange tells me that we share the same source, and the source is one who is all powerful, all knowing, all merciful, in the way that I experience the orange and in the interconnectedness of my existence to the orange, to the rest of the universe. So it not only meets my bodily needs, but in this reflection, in my recognition that I come from an absolute source, I find security in from transience and meaninglessness, because I meaning that even if I eat the orange and the orange is no more, the meaningful side will still stay with me, and the source of the existence of the orange, which may now sit like on the floor of my stomach or something after I eat it, is not one that is subject to change. So in my realization of this, I have a fundamental human concern that is being met, and that saves me from this transience as far as my human qualities are concerned. So So in my experience of anything in existence, this offers me an opportunity to address my human needs and to get to know my source of existence. And I guess just as I cannot put a number on my human qualities, meaning that like the nuances of my feelings, the smallest of changes within my inner world, the vastness of the desires of my heart, for example, all of these things, just as innumerable as they may be, just to that extent, I have the opportunity to address all of these, innumerable things within my existence of experience, even in the existence of one thing like an orange. So basically, my interaction with anything like an orange or anything else for that matter, I can utilize to train myself and further feel secure in my existence, and that my spirit is not bound to death or annihilation, and it's not, dying away. Like my body is subject to the order of the universe, right? Which means that I'll die, but my spirit, or my human side or my human qualities reach far beyond that. And so I guess in a nutshell, I need to locate myself and my existence within the paradigm of existence. Within everything, I need to question the source of existence, the purpose of existence, and seek the answers to my questions. And in my interaction with these things, I can see that it's sort of a training for me, and that this training is looks to, or is a result of divine mercy insofar as it seeks to, it meets my human expectations, or it seeks to meet the answers my human side has, that that I'm not going into annihilation, and I have as many opportunities as moments in time, I guess, to experience or to confirm or feel secure in my existence. And this being a result of mercy is what I understood from our last discussion last week, from the first paragraph of the third mystery. So I got a note saying my mic is muffled. Is this better? Hopefully it's better. Sorry, I'm just seeing the message now. I'll just hold the microphone a little bit closer. But if someone can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, so it looks like my voice is coming through. Okay, thank you. So that's my perhaps a little bit too long summary of last week. So inshallah, today we'll begin from the second paragraph of the third mystery of the first word. And I look forward to people's comments and active participation, inshallah, as we try to reflect on this together and seek guidance together. So I guess as moderator, host, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Thank you very much for a very comprehensive and beautiful summary of what we have been doing and introducing the subject. Just I wanted to add the point attracted my attention and made me feel much more comfortable after realizing this aspect of the relationship between me and my creator and the created world. Of course, we are in this context. I am connected to the universe, but at the same time, the conclusion of this connection with the universe, I end up jumping out of the universe into the realm of the creator of the universe. It means I conclude that universe and me, both of us, have a source of existence. You emphasized on it, but what is the significant impact on my feelings of this result, that the universe and the creator of the universe and me is really treating me with his mercy? That is excellent, but at the same time, I feel myself, oh, so little, negligible. I mean, even forget about it, small, insignificant being in the universe. And also, I always am in expectation of going out of this world, the fear in me, then what is going to happen to me? But while I'm here, I must make sure that my existence is secured. My feelings are secured, that I'm sure they will be satisfied. In this stage now, the last sentence of the first paragraph, which I'm going to mark here, we discuss this matter. I'm not going to discuss this matter again, talk about it, just to remind us, refresh our minds from last week. I will read out the sentence and what designates ephemeral man, transient man, for eternity and makes him, the man, the human being, the addressee and beloved of the creator of the universe, which has mercy, but this mercy is not like the mercy I received from my friends, from my parents, relatives, etc., but it's a divine mercy. It means infinite mercy. So this one who is the creator of the universe, who is infinitely merciful, is speaking to me through my existence, through the existence of the universe, and is speaking to me. And I am, it is, I mean, I get really excited to say that I am potentially a beloved of this merciful creator, beloved of this merciful creator. What does it mean? The creator of the universe, although I am a very insignificant being in the universe, I am his beloved. What's going on? What is significant in me? I am his beloved. And he speaks to me, says, come here. My name is Ali, that's why I use my name. Ali, come here, let's talk. What do you want? What a merciful, what a compassionate being that embraces me, doesn't leave me alone, and says, I love you, Ali. Oh, yeah. I've never heard this word from anyone. so of this age, for other reasons, not now. I mean, joke aside, it is a very serious matter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? An important man in your setting, the worldly setting, says, picks up you individually and takes him in his presence and say, now let's talk. Let's have a cup of coffee together. Oh man, look at this. I am his addressee. What do you want? I will tell you. I will give you, but what do you want from me? I will give you. If you want, whatever you want, from what I have created, they can't give you. The whole argument in the Quran about committing, which is very well-known word, shirk, it means assigning something else with divine power, creative power. What are you doing? They cannot do anything. The whole argument between believers, unbelievers, hypocrites, and the enemies of the prophets, and the prophets struggle to save people from this mistaken position. Well, the Quran is full of this argument. I see the others are very small. I mean, we should not neglect them, but these are not the major content of the Quran, these small things. The major content of the Quran is to establish the relationship between human beings and their creator, and he is guiding them through employing the messengers. Listen to the messengers. You can hear my voice through their mouths, but I am the one who is inspiring all this to him. He's telling you who I am, what your duty is here, what is expected of you. He's speaking to me continuously. But through the messenger's mouth, of course, the echoing the voice came into my room and took the form of a book. Now I can read it. I can read it. Of course, I need help to understand the deep meaning of this message, but I am always available. My creator is always available for me, and I can be also available for him to communicate with him, to understand what he says and take notes of it and put into practice, implement it into my life. He says, yes, I love you. I take care of you. Look, many things that you need in this world, bodily, I provided for you. This is me, nothing else. How about your human expectations? I will. Just get ready. When you communicate with me, when you understand your status within the universe, you can understand that in your feelings, relax and security. That's what I create to confirm that what I promised you in my speech is true. You can feel it. Just trust the creator of the universe as me. And how I am merciful to you, I will be mercifully treating your feelings and also doing or implementing what they are looking forward. That's what I created you for. Your feelings, your expectations. So as you said in your beautiful summary, although I am insignificant, my feelings expand. My expectations go beyond, expand the limits of my body and the universe. Goes into what the universe tells me. What do they say? Our creator must be infinite. So I look for infinite. When I attach my existence, at least emotionally, intellectually, I feel this. I say, okay, that is really correct. Nothing can save me from falling into annihilation but the one who created the universe, me and my feelings. Only he can satisfy. Where is he? He is presenting himself to me through various means, through the universe, through my own being, and also through his speech. The messengers, appointed messengers, have conveyed to me. And it is now available in front of me. It is under my hand. I can open it and study and understand. And also, it may sometimes I may feel difficult to understand. Definitely, those people who worked on it much more than me, I have to learn from them. That's what we are doing here. That's what it was so exciting for me, and I wanted to share it with you. And I hope you will feel the same thing, some exuberant excitement, and pleasure, free of fear. Hey, I belong to the absolute, merciful one, absolutely merciful one. Come on, nothing can challenge me. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yeah, I was thinking about how, I guess, to the extent that I feel that I'm aware of my feelings of needing security, like, being insignificant, things being out of my control, this my spirit extending beyond, I guess, my bodily life, for example. The degree to which I am aware of this, I guess, will correspond to the degree that I feel the excitement, the peace, the serenity, the feeling of feeling relieved as a result of um, being in communication with one who is, making himself known to me and addressing um, uh, my human needs through my being, and the existence of the universe, and, as you said, through his speech uh, via appointed messengers. So if there are any, I mean, we haven't actually begun reading yet, but I'd like to pause for a moment to see if there's any comments, or questions, and if not, inshallah, we can begin reading. Okay, inshallah, then we can begin reading from the second paragraph of the third mystery. And the text is on the screen for those and it's being highlighted. Thank you. So we can follow along together there. Oh man, since divine mercy is such a powerful, inviting, sweet, assisting, lovable truth, say, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Adhere to this truth and be saved from absolute desolation and the pains of unending needs. Since divine mercy is such a powerful, inviting, sweet, assisting, lovable truth, say, in the name of God, the merciful and compassionate, adhere to this truth and be saved from the absolute desolation and pains of unending needs. Draw close to the throne of the pre-eternal and post-eternal monarch, and availing yourself of the compassionate and rays of divine mercy, become his addressee, friend, and beloved. Draw close to the throne of the pre-eternal and post-eternal monarch, and availing yourself of the compassionate and rays of divine mercy, become his addressee, friend, and beloved. So I think we can pause here, host, if you agree. And so some of my immediate takeaways is, so there's this, juxtaposition or this comparison between, the text is claiming that there's this sweet, lovable, powerful truth in the form of divine mercy, in the phrase, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. And so in my, I guess, my lack of awareness of this, when I'm disconnected from this reality, then I find myself deprived or in the opposite state of being, which the author then describes as absolute desolation and pains of unending needs. So I guess it's it's right now, as I'm looking at this, I find it interesting that it says absolute desolation. It doesn't just say desolation and unending needs. It doesn't just say needs. There's this emphasis on these two things that I don't like, which is desolation and the pains of needs, being stretching out infinitely. And I think perhaps what makes it so painful is that these needs do stretch out to eternity, and within the confines of the universe itself, there is nothing that addresses these. So, I guess one example that we've used in this class that just comes to my mind now is, if I lose my wallet, but there's only $1 in it, I'm not going to be too worried about that. I'll be like, okay, maybe the wallet was even worth more than the dollar itself, but it's okay. But if inside of it I have all of my IDs and I have $1,000,000, I wish, if I had that sort of thing, and I lost it, then to the extent, I guess, to the extent to which the value of that thing that I lose is the extent to which I'll feel, this pain, this fear of loss, this lack of security, this anxiety. Oh no, how am I going to get that back? To the extent to which that which I lost is valuable to me. So here, when it says, when I look at myself within the universe, I find that my existence is connected to the existence of everything. Like, we all exist within this order, and everything seems to be serving me in one way or another, but I have no way of guaranteeing that my needs be met. Like, I think one example that we used last week as well was like with the breathing, right? I have the lungs, I have the air around me, the mechanism, and everything just seems to be working perfectly, but there's nothing that in my ability or will or power to secure, for example, just on a physical basis, my ability to breathe, or that I will have the mechanism or a functioning mechanism, or um, the oxygen around me to be able to do this, to even the breathing itself is just, it's involuntary. I don't do it myself. So and then when I look at my human needs, I guess those stretching out much further, looking to meaningfulness, and as I experience this transience, I'll just take a pause here, to see if anyone would like to share anything on their mind. I'd like this to be, one where we share our thoughts together, and active participation would be great. So I'll take a pause here. Please go ahead, host.
Yeah, thank you. So the moderator allows everyone to speak and they go onto the platform and present their ideas, concerns, feelings, questions, whatever. So that's a free platform. Not only host and the moderator speaks. Everybody is expected to join. We are waiting for their comments. I am waiting for their also comments, participations, especially what they really took away from the text or what's said here. Just friendly relationship. We are not doing here and then studying academic subjects. So friendly relationship, trying to understand who we are.
I can share my initial thoughts.
Thank you. And just I'm sorry, just moving forward, there's a raising hand icon that if you guys want to speak, you can use that. I know Zoom is updating itself like every other week, and you can also comment. So please go ahead, Radwa.
Okay, thank you. I guess when I read the word pains of unending needs, it was very easy to relate to. But then I thought a little bit about the absolute dissolution. And then the word saved from, I honestly think that I don't want to be saved from them. I just want to be, let's see, I want them to have meaning. Um, like I don't I don't want to say I don't mind the unending needs, but I kind of don't. Um, if it's if it is a meaningful if it has a meaningful purpose in my life. Um, so I I feel like in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, I want to be able to see within the needs and within the absolute emptiness that the author was referring to. Um, yeah, these are my sort of feelings about it.
Thank you for your sharing your comments. And I think, you know, as I was listening to your reflections, I was also thinking, yeah, I think perhaps what makes something desolate or what makes my needs unending is not the existence of the needs themselves, for example, but rather the fact that if I'm unable to find meaningfulness in them, um, if I see my needs as just my needs in and of themselves, just I am needy and I have to kind of fend for myself and you know, try to uh, be the one who has to guarantee the satisfaction of my needs for myself, then this kind of puts this unbearable burden upon me that I cannot bear, really. And maybe that's where the, you know, the desolation and the pains of these things arise from. Um, but I'd like to just take a moment if host would like to speak. I know he cannot raise his hand.
When I unmute myself, it is my way of raising hands only because the system doesn't allow me to raise my hand. But you understand this, the moderator understands this. Thank you. And also I'm very pleased with the comment our friend made. That is, I think it's a matter of how we use the words. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of it. Anyways, I can't. No way to get rid of it, but when I utilize it, when I see the meaning, it is just satisfied. We have to understand that I have to look. The presence of the need, unending needs, urges me within me to look for the solution. Because if I need air, which is the case, and if I cannot breathe, I want to look for a solution because that's my need. That's how I am created. So that we are so much familiar with the action that automatically we are created with disability without realizing. We breathe in, we take in, inhale the air, and that we don't know the value of it. When we have the problem in the difficulties in breathing, inhaling the air into our lungs, then we really appreciate it, but we look for the solution. So these needs are given to us to look for the solution. Of course, this endless needs refers to not bodily needs, the needs of the human expectations. So human expectations are not satisfied with anything within this universe. That is an excellent way of creating or of creation. It's an excellent way. Why? It urges me to go to my origin, the origin of the universe as well. Where did I get them? The universe doesn't have it. That is the only way to search for the solution. But I must look for the solution, find the solution, and satisfy this need. While I am here, I must be sure that these needs must be satisfied by the one who created me with this need. That's why it is very important to understand that my creator is not taking pleasure by torturing me. My creator is just inviting me to seek refuge with him so that I will feel secure and make my temporary, transient life meaningful in this world. It means I am learning. Just a very simple thing. If I don't know something, I want to learn. That's why we all went and go to school, education systems, and take teachers and read books and search for whatever we want to learn. Why? We want to satisfy the need of getting rid of ignorance. But this ignorance, the existence of ignorance is beautiful. It urges me to educate myself, to learn. If there was no such thing, I wouldn't look for the solution. If I am not hungry, I don't look for the water or more food. Why? I don't need. So if I am not interacting in this way, I wouldn't realize that the one who created the air, the one who created food, the one who provided the knowledge is trying to teach me something which is very fundamental, very basic. I am needy and my source of existence is the one who satisfies this need. I have to connect myself, my need to it. It means, if you need something, if you are away from your family, and if you need some financial support, for example, if you are young, not after a certain age, so I'm joking. So you connect them through various means, but the best meaning is by speaking. Picking up the telephone nowadays and saying, I am in trouble, financial trouble, please help me. That is the best way. But if you are living together, for example, one day you came back in the evening home, your father, mother says, oh, you look so tired and pale. You say, I haven't been eating anything, I have no food. That way is also a way of transferring your need and letting your parents know. This is how we are created, communication. Now we are studying the meaning and the significance of this phrase, in the name of God, the merciful to compassionate, for more than a month. No, several months maybe. So in the name of God, we studied almost deeply. And now we are warming up just to get to know the merciful side of it. In the name of God, the merciful. Why should I keep saying this, remembering this? What am I supposed to do by saying, am I going to be blessed with it, or something magical will happen to me when I say Bismillah? Right. For example, God forbid, when I'm driving a car, may be dangerous as well. And many things can be dangerous anytime. So when I start the engine, turn the key on, said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, why? I should be saved by God. Why? Because I said Bismillah. Excuse me. Did you connect yourself? Did you connect to your creator while you are saying that, oh, my creator, me and this car came into existence in your name, in the name of God. And the merciful, when I say Bismillahir-Rahman, let's stay there, because Ar-Rahim is another very important subject. So Ar-Rahman, you are Rahman, you gave it to me. as a result of your mercy. And you put me in connection with this. I am in need of going somewhere, inshallah, not for waste, for a real purpose, good purpose. Yeah. And this metal, or whatever it is, the machine, is your grace to me. You employed, you gave the opportunity to human beings, and they worked on it, they discovered it, and they prepared it for me. I thank them, but the source is you. And in this relationship, I understand that you are merciful. So I have my endless needs. Yep. So endless needs, my human needs, nothing is satisfying in this world. That is the point. Connection, speaking, consciously speaking. He is speaking to me. What does it mean? I can speak to him in his absence, in this world, his absence. But when I realize that his existence is for sure, he becomes present. Now, live possible, it is possible, consciously aware of the presence of your creator in his act of creation. That is a key point, in his act of creation. Look, creation is not static. Every day change. The conditions continuously change. What does it mean? It is a news to me that, look, I am at work. Now, this is a word we use for human beings, but we have to understand that it's a figurative way of speech. So I am here with you, and nothing can prevent me from dealing with you while I am dealing with something else. Whole universe is perfectly being changed, and nothing prevents the change from the other. It means the source is infinite. So you are an infinite source of mercy. I have to understand this. This is what you taught me here. The way you create teaches me this. I'm very pleased with it. So when you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, I'm not going to wait anything magical so that it will save me from accident. That is not guaranteed. It is not my concern, but I know that I don't want to. That's my feeling. I don't want to get involved into any accident at all. I don't want to involve it into any harmful creation at all. But how can I make sure that I cannot do it? I cannot get, no guarantee, but I am now, the magical thing is not going to happen. I am in this position to understand that the already magical thing is happening while I exist, while the car exists. Car is an example. You can use it for anything. While the food exists, while the relationship between me and the car and the food, or I don't know, air, or these are the examples, or whatever you need, your clothes, everything, your parents, your family life, and loving relationship, that while they are all happening, I see his presence and his mercy. That is magical enough to make me wonder. That is magical enough to make me love him. When you fall in love with him, you love me, I love you. You understand? You start speaking to him in his absence. In his absence means physical absence, but in your feelings, he is there. In your mind, he is there. You know that he is acting in front of you now. His presence is witnessed, demonstrated to me through his action. What do you want? His action is always with you, with me. So really, my unending needs must be satisfied. That is the only way establishing a, if you like, connection, like the connection you have with your friend when you are speaking. Yeah, there is a connection. But this is wave life connection. This is intellectual, emotional, awareness connection. Yes, he is with me. If you really love someone or something, you said, for example, like, okay, I like mango. So giving an example from mango. So when I miss mango, what do I say? I say, if only I had a mango now. Oh, mango, where are you now? Come on, come. That is mango, a part of the creation. But the eternal, absolute one is ever present. And he's demonstrating his presence to me right now, through his action. He's performing his action in front of me. What else? Do I want to see the body there? The creator is not a part of the universe, cannot be a part of the universe and show it to me, show himself to me. But I wouldn't believe in it. If anybody comes and said anything, any magical thing, how huge it is, doesn't matter. Even in the form of a galaxy, something that I am the creator of the universe, I would say, come on, you must be a created being. You are a part of the creation. You need to be created. Come on, bring me your creator. So it is so clear, the case is so clear that I'm not expecting his physical appearance, but his actions are always with me, reminding me his presence. So when I say Bismillahi ar-Rahman, now Rahim, later on, we will study that, inshallah. So Bismillahi ar-Rahman, I am just taking the phone and calling him. That is what I have now. Whatever I have now is evidence, a proof, your presence here. I am reminding myself your presence. When I turn the key in my car, for example, those people who believe in God usually mention the name of God, right? In their action, especially if something is not really very well known, so like getting on a car and getting into the traffic, now something may happen to you even out of your choice. Somebody may come and there are lots of possibilities. The unknown is beautiful. I seek refuge with God by saying, Bismillah, I acknowledge your presence in my life, and I belong to you, and I am connected to you. I explain my existence only in your terms. In your terms, it means everything is from you, and I am returning to you right now by connecting myself, my position now to your ever eternal presence. That consciousness, awareness is what is expected when I say Bismillahi ar-Rahman. When I say it in my word, why shouldn't I say it? My tongue speaks. That is why it is created. I have to remember, I have to feel the security of the absolute mercy. Thank you, I spoke a lot again. So moderators shouldn't give me much opportunity to speak.
Thank you. No, that was very helpful. And before I read the comment on the screen, I guess the highlights for me were first and foremost, the need is necessary. I need to feel the need within myself to realize the one who fulfills it. And kind of, I guess, all in all, saying Bismillah ar-Rahman is not just meant to be something like out of habit of the tongue, but rather it's there for me to, as a means of remembrance or recognizing something. It's there for me to enter a certain state of consciousness. And, you know, in order to become conscious of something, like becoming conscious of something implies that at one point I was not conscious of it. So I think Bismillah, or in the name of God, acts as or is meant to be utilized for me so that I can try to be aware, enter that state of being where I am, I realized I am needy, and I realize the one who is ever present within my need, and that, you know, this one who is ever present is uh is calling me to his presence, is speaking to me, um and you know, it seeks to, or is one who knows, you know, everything within me. So it's you know, I'm not alone, for example, is one who can fulfill my needs by virtue, or, you know, the existence of the need within me looks to the existence of the one who can fulfill the need, as a promise. So I will read the comment on the screen. Thank you so much. Our friend here says, a question. Sometimes we are not aware of our main need, which I think eternal happy existence, which I think is eternal happy existence. And if there is no concept of absolute unending need in our life, how can we come to the conclusion that we will be having pains of it? We might think that death is the absolute end. So before I speak on behalf of this friend, or at least maybe if I can try to reword this friend's question so that this also gives time for others to share their thoughts if they want to. The question is, if I'm not aware of my most essential need, which, you know, as a human being, it's not necessarily, you know, I mean, I have many needs, but ones that go beyond my physical needs, my need for meaningfulness, my need for a happy life, I guess. And here the friend is saying that need perhaps being an eternal happy existence. I think when I look within myself, I can agree with this. The friend is saying, if there's no concept of the absolute unending need in our life, if I'm not aware of this, then how can I come to the conclusion that I will have pains as a result of it? In that state of being, I might think that death is the absolute end. So I guess my immediate response would be, you know, am I ever unaware of this? Like, everything that I do is for some sort of benefit to me. Um, Even if let's say I'm lazy and I don't do anything, I see a benefit in that laziness. So I think it will give me some sort of happiness, for example. So I do it. So I wonder if we can say, is there ever, whether or not I'm really conscious of it, I'm always in my actions somehow reflecting this need for happy existence, I guess, eternal happy existence. Like, you know, I guess I keep going back to this with the virus, but like the need to stay healthy, you know, staying home, for example. Why don't you just take the risk and just go outside and, you know, shake hands with somebody? Nobody would want to do that right now. Why not take that risk? Because within my being, I mean, it's one, whether or not I guess I act consciously, within my being is already this very tight knot that ties me to the sense of health, which looks to existence, which looks to the continuation, a happy permanent continuation of that existence. So I guess there can be a difference between being conscious of that, but I think that need always reflects in my actions and in my existence. So I guess that's maybe where free will comes in, so that I can reflect on myself, but it's always there, I guess, would be my immediate takeaway. But I'd be interested to know what anybody else in our very blessed participants list, big list, would want to share. Um, we're all friends here and we're just sharing our thoughts. So, and I think this question, at least it resonates with me. So I think we were just helping each other here. So I'll just take a pause to see if anyone has any thoughts that they'd like to share. Yes, please go ahead, Farah.
Assalamu alaikum. Is it okay if I don't directly address the question and perhaps just share something that was okay? Great. I guess I wanted to share perhaps what I think I was identified as sort of an error in a process that I experienced. So one theme today and from last week that is very significant or sort of makes itself very apparent is this idea of that man or I or us, we're at the focus, we're the focus of this conversation that is happening at every moment in the universe, and that the prime addressee or the main addressee is, man or me or us. And so this, even this sort of last sentence in this paragraph that says, availing yourself of the compassionate and rays of divine mercy, become his addressee, friend, and beloved. And I was perhaps also trying to reflect on this order of events, order that the author mentions this. He first says addressee, then he says friend and beloved. And obviously, to me, it represents this sort of increasing awareness, increasing strength of relationship, going from an addressee to a friend to a beloved. And as I was thinking about this, I figured that, let's say I hear the birds, or, and you're hearing them a lot these days because, there's nothing to disturb them. So thinking that all of the signs around us are saying something to us, I felt that I felt sort of a struggle with trying to make meaning of the things around me. And when I think about the word addressee, I think about this, like, for example, when we're in a room full of, let's say, different sounds or voices or conversations, if, let's say, we're not necessarily looking for anything in particular, to hear anything in particular, then everything around us is just noise. It's just mumbles, sort of white noise. But let's say we enter a room wanting to listen to something in particular. Perhaps we have a particular question, and hence we are there, and we are particularly looking for that thing. Then that noise turns into audible, sort of like comprehensive, something that is comprehensible to us. That same mumble jumble becomes clearer to us. So this idea then becomes that, okay, if I have to look for this communication in the world around me, in the universe around me, in everything around me, then I have to be looking for something in particular so that I may be able to listen for it. And I guess that connects to the idea that has been very well discussed during this session, and something that this author identifies very strongly is the concept that we have to be aware of our need. And that need also can be, I'm thinking, kind of dynamic in the sense that, for example, these days, let's say if someone needs a friend, and this idea of looking for a friend maybe in some other person, if one thinks about the idea of friendship, then perhaps friendship or looking for a friend is just a sign or something, or a reflection or a sign pointing to something that, or some being that can be, let's say, your friend for all, forever, until, and doesn't leave you in any situation. He's trustworthy, dependable, compassionate, etc., forever. So coming back to this idea of like identifying your needs, I guess one thing that is very apparent is like the more that we get to know ourselves, which is via our needs, the more we will get to hear the one speaking, the more we, again, develop a relationship with the one who's speaking to us, and hence, grow in our strength of this relationship. But the focus again comes, weirdly or strangely, comes back to us, is that if I want to listen to the signs in the universe, I have to listen to them through my needs. So instead of, perhaps this is an error that I think I'm identifying, is that instead of looking outward and just saying, okay, what is this, rising of the sun and like the clouds moving mean? I have to ask, what is it that I'm wanting them to mean? What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I need in order for me to sort of get a message from them? So yeah, I just wanted to share what I thought, what I think is sort of was an error in my method. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Farah, for sharing your beautiful reflections. And I think this error that you're referring to is, at least within myself, I can definitely say it's, I'm a participant of falling into this error as well. And yeah, I think, in a way, I do think your reflections right now kind of connect us to the question that was asked earlier, in the sense that I guess not being aware of my main need would be then perhaps trying to make sense of things in the universe, because we all do that. We all make sense of our existence without connecting it to something essential within me. I can, as you said, I can look at the rising of the sun and say, how do I make sense of this? As far as, I guess one perspective would be, the sun rises at this speed or at this time because of XYZ apparent causal relationships. But on another hand, I can say, okay, what need within me is the rising of the sun, for example, as you said, addressing? Or what news does it bring to me that looks to a need within me? So a friend here asks, what's the error that was referred to? Would our friend like to, I don't want you to repeat yourself, but I would like, or would anyone like to perhaps try to um, restate in their own words what they understand the error to be? Awesome says, not being aware of our needs, question mark. And Awesome, would you like to speak more to that? Not to put you on the spot. If not, no worries. Please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. No, I was also trying to understand what our friend shared. So what I understood, that's what I put in, that the error that we make sure that we don't know what our needs are based on the question that was posted. I mean, we can continue our lives as, in a heedlessness situation. That's an option that everybody has. But really, where does that lead to? So, which is why at some point, everybody, especially, when they're sitting by themselves, whatever, distancing and isolation, I'm sure it's a good time for everyone to think about who they are and what their lives are, and then really understand that human needs are. So I don't think anybody now can escape from realizing that what they are in need of, and seeing that there's something more to their existence than just what they are going through. Because the transience is something very, very easy that everybody can realize that things just go away, and even the best friend that you may have, that you put your hopes on, you rely on, that best friend also will not be there forever. So really, you can have to look for what is the source that you can go, what is there that is permanent. And the divine mercy is what the author was highlighting again, because everybody likes to be in a good environment, to be pleased and happy, and feeling pleasure, rather than nobody wants to stay in an aggravated state or something that is bothersome. So in your being, in your existence, if you're really disturbed or you don't like that, that's very displeasing to everyone. The consequences of that is apparent in your actions, your being outside. It gets resonated. So that inner peace, or that feeling of comfort, is something that must be something that is a permanent source, and that is the only thing that a human being who is realizing their neediness and their impotence and their weakness in terms of their being, to look for that, because that is something that is truly desired by individual beings. So that's at least what I took away. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts and elaborating. As I was listening, and I'm not sure to what extent this is what our friend who verbalized her question was referring to, but I thought of the example that we've shared in this class before about, like, if I see myself as a tenant in the house that I'm living in, how often do I live within this house with the consciousness of the fact that I have a landlord, for example, or one who takes care or maintains the house. So again, I'm not sure if I'm digressing on the topic here, but I think there is a difference between, concluding the necessary existence of the source of existence, the creator, and then living with the consciousness that, or with the presence of this creator within my life right here, right now. So, I connecting this metaphor or analogy to the extent that we can, while keeping in mind it's just an example, to what we've been discussing. I guess, it's very easy that, when I see a flaw, what I perceive to be a flaw in the house, then I usually think of the landlord. But even in that flaw, let's say the plumbing doesn't work or it's malfunctioning or whatever, in my perceiving of that, or in my observation of that apparent flaw to me, it reminds me, I guess, first and foremost, my need for a fully functioning plumbing system. And that looks to the one who can fulfill it. And the one who has been, fulfilling this or satisfying this need the entire time, and only when I experience for a moment the lack of it, or a little less of whatever I've grown accustomed to, then am I kind of woken up, or woken up from that state of heedlessness, I guess. But not just my landlord being one that takes care of my issues only when I have them, but rather, to the extent we can use this example, is one who is ever present, who is continuously maintaining the building, and arranging things particularly for my needs, not like a house that I come in and then leave and somebody else comes in, but the very particular arrangement of everything, every single curve, angle of the house, the molding, the placement of the rooms, the doors, is there for me to benefit from. And essentially the real benefit for me is not in my apparent benefiting from the universe itself as I do currently, but to realize that as I benefit from the universe and as I experience these things that are less than preferable to me, like sickness, for example, um, within those experiences, it's calling me to the presence of the one who is putting me through these situations so that I can become aware of him, so that I can realize that only in my awareness of him, meaning that in my conscious living of his presence in my life, meaning that I'm just going to keep elaborating on what I mean, in my to the extent, I guess, I am aware of how my needs are being met on, let's say, a physical level, just as perfectly and in an orderly fashion those things are being met, my human needs, so my need for meaningfulness, my need for knowing that I'm not all alone, like this world is not just here out of chaos, but everything is happening, is meaningful. It's not, chaos is what, I guess, what's terrible or what hurts me about chaos is not the fact that it looks to meaninglessness, that it's just rumble, it's just um this mess of things which serve no purpose. And if I take that to myself, if my existence is a part of this chaos which serves no purpose, that hurts a lot, because I don't want my existence to be purposeless. I don't want my existence to be meaningless. And so in my awareness of the presence of the one who is the source of order, who is the source of wisdom, who is the source of mercy, then um it realigns the way, or I guess through these reflections, right? I, to the extent that I am aware of my needs, is the extent to which then I can feel the relief as a result of connecting myself to the presence of my creator. So that I just talked a lot, but is there anyone who would like to share anything on their mind as a result of our discussion, or something that may have connected or may have attracted their attention in what we've read so far? And if not, perhaps as the host is suggesting by highlighting, we can move on to the next paragraph. Host, I think then we are moving on to the next paragraphs that you've so generously highlighted for us so that it will be easy to read. Just to have like maybe a different voice in the discussion, would anyone volunteer to read this paragraph that is highlighted for us on the screen? You just have to read it. And you can share your thoughts afterwards if you want, or if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to. You may raise your hand. No need to be shy. You would be doing me a service and everyone else as well. There's a comment. Okay, please go ahead, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum. All the realms of beings in the universe being purposively gathered around man and being made to hasten to meet all his needs with the utmost order and wisdom clearly arises from one of two situations. Either each realm of being knows man, obeys him, and runs to help him, which, just as it is completely irrational, is also impossible in many respects, or an absolutely impotent being like man has to possess the power of the mightiest absolute sovereign, or this assistance occurs through the knowledge of an absolutely powerful one, being the veil of the universe. That is to say, it is not that the different beings in the universe know man, but that there are evidences of a knowing, compassionate one being acquainted with him and knowing him.
Thank you for your beautiful reading. Much appreciated. So if there's anyone who'd like to share their thoughts, please feel free to raise your hand at any time. Please do not be shy. So I guess to go through this paragraph sentence by sentence and share with you all my immediate takeaways. It says, all the realms of beings in the universe being purposively gathered around man and being made to hasten to meet all his needs with utmost order and wisdom clearly arise from one of two situations. So there, the author is saying there are one of two situations that look to basically all the realms of beings in the universe. So everything within the universe, all the realms of beings within the universe that are being gathered around man and serving him and meeting his needs, or serving me as I experience it, with, within this perfect sort of order and wisdom. I guess when I take this to myself, yes, I exist right now, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm breathing and I'm speaking my mind, I'm able to think. So even like these are basic need. I don't want to say basic in the sense that they're easy, but basic in the sense that they're fundamental needs for me to be able to function as I function. And so it's saying all of these needs, going beyond even the examples that I gave, um, being met within this order and wisdom, look to one of two situations for the human being. And then it goes to say, either each realm of beings know man. So I guess, like, the way I take this, it says obeys him and runs to his help. In my eating of an orange, just to go back to that example again, or a mango, um, it appeals to my senses, it appeals to my taste, it benefits my body. There's a relationship that the orange shares with the entirety of the system within my body, and my body is made up of systems. And at the same time, the orange also, the existence of the orange shares a relationship with the rest of the universe. And it requires the existence of the sun, of the soil, of the clouds, of everything, basically. So there's this perfect order in sight as I eat the orange or the mango. So in order for it to be such, then each of these beings, so the sun, the soil, the atmosphere, all the chemical reactions, all the everything that goes on within my body, everything must know me and obey me and run to me to meet these needs so that everything can function as perfectly as it does. And in order for it to be as such, it would require that each of these things must have or must be aware of this order, must have a conscious will, must be if they must all independently act in a perfect manner within an order and with the consciousness of themselves, of each other, and me, so that they can perfectly fulfill and meet my needs. In this example, being, I'm hungry and I eat a mango or an orange. The author is saying, just as either each realm of beings knows man, obeys him, and runs to him, which just as it is completely irrational, is also impossible in many respects. So I guess the irrational and the impossible, in many respects, one of the many respects, is in the sense that I don't observe any quality of consciousness, for example, within the orange or within any aspect of the orange, or no matter how much I zoom into the orange, if I go down to the very molecular level, or if I zoom out to the entirety of the universe, I don't see the quality of consciousness being inherent within the thing, the existing thing itself. So I cannot say, this orange right here is the source of consciousness or the source of will, and or anything. Like, there's nothing in the universe that I can say, let alone in this first way. It's saying that everything then must be one who knows, must have the will, must have the power, must have the awareness of everything within. It requires this all-encompassing knowledge, and I can clearly observe and confirm for myself that is not this, that is not the situation at hand. And then it says, if, or maybe perhaps before we go there, let me just take a pause here to see if anyone has perhaps anything that's attracted their attention, or anything that they'd like to share at this time regarding this picture the author is painting for us here, as far as man being in the center and everything kind of revolving around him and meeting his needs. Although, like earlier in our discussion, as we were saying, when I look at myself, I'm so weak and like insignificant in a way, like, physical size wise, I'm not even like a speck of dust in the entirety of the cosmos. So that, and yet here I am seeking some sort of meaningfulness in my existence. So within this framework, or within this initial approach to everything kind of revolving around man, it must be as a result of one of two options, as the author is claiming. And the first one being that everything must be conscious or aware and powerful and all-knowing and merciful too, because why would you serve me when you don't need to serve me? So I'm just going to take a pause here to see if anyone has any reflections, either directly connected or not, to share. And if not, we can go on to the second way. Oh, so I've also realized that we might be a little out of time, actually, in fact. So perhaps we can, if the host agrees, maybe we can stop here for today and pick up again from this paragraph, because I don't think it would do it justice to kind of skim through it quickly. And inshallah, we can restart here again next week, if that's okay.
I think the time is up, so it is just.
Inshallah, yeah. If you can do the closing dua, that would be great. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, I'll see all of you next Monday, the coming Monday now. And then following Saturday, coming Monday, we are studying Surah Najm, and we will continue, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you for all participants. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So I have to close the room
Okay.
so that I can close the YouTube as well, right?
Yes, you can, I think.
How can I go to YouTube? Shall
I
I
think
share here?
I'm sorry. I think if you leave meeting, that should automatically end the live stream.
Okay.
Should
Now
sound-
on YouTube. Well, okay, end meeting.